My mandate as a minister in charge of environment makes me squarely into these climate change issues. So I'm of necessity interested. What can I do? How can I implement interventions in the climate change regime? Everybody right now is concerned about climate change because of the floods, because of lightning, because of droughts. There are so many things that are going on which are negative. So it is like everybody is up talking about what they can do. And within the ministry, we have created a climate change unit, and we are in the process of making it an authority so that it can widen its mandate, and so that it can do more. And there are several other initiatives that are being done, especially in conjunction with the civil society. The ministry is working hand in hand with agriculture, is working hand in hand with the Ministry of Energy, is working hand in hand with other ministries, disaster preparedness, because there are interlinkages. When something happens to climate, when there's no rain, agriculture suffers. When there are floods, disaster preparedness suffers. So we are working together. And because of the resources, which are minimal, we are relying a lot within the climate regime. We are relying a lot on donor funding, and donors usually work with projects where civil society organizations are. So there is developing some kind of network that is attending to climate change issues. The little time that I've been there, I've noticed that there are lots of activities going on at what I personally describe as an abstract level. I describe it as abstract because the grassroots is not part of it, or the level at which the transactions are taking place. Even if they were near, they wouldn't understand. So I would like to see climate change issues that include the vulnerable people themselves. I want to see hands-on. Now we have issues of drought, we have issues of floods, we have issues of environmental degradation, like deforestation, we have wetland encroachment, and so on, whereby we find that the wetlands have been degraded and they have dried, and people are using them for agriculture. Now, the ordinary person, when you start talking to this person and telling this person that her action or his action of degrading the wetland is contributing to the reason why there is a drought, the reason why she has no water, the reason why the borehole now, which used to bring water, there's hardly any water coming, you will not be able to convince this person if there is no alternative. She must put food on the table. And if you tell the person not to cut down a tree, and you have not given an alternative, this person is still going to cut down the tree in order to get fuel wood to prepare a meal for the family. Whereas we are doing all these activities, we are not touching that person. We are not doing what I call hands-on. To tell this person that, look here, you have to leave this wetland. We divert and we give her some other activity which will put food on the table. After 6 months, when this person comes back to the wetland and it has recovered, and she sees clean water running, that person is going to be happy and motivated and will carry the message forward. And when it comes to cooking, the deforestation, it is inevitable because the people have no alternatives. I've seen now solar stoves. If you, our development partners, can help us raise some money to purchase some of these solar stoves, and we get a pilot somewhere we remove the attention of this lady who is cooking for her family from the firewood to the sun, cooking with the solar power. Then she will have the motivation, after receiving this solar stove, she'll have the motivation to leave the other tree standing, and also the precondition that is attached to the solar stove is for her to plant several other trees and to look after them. And then if this solar stove can sustain her for the next 6 years, by the time she realizes she's living in a nice environment and the rain has come back and so on. So really I feel we should focus more on the grassroots. And the money needed for that is not so much as the money that we spend in these conferences. My ticket alone could do a lot of things on the ground there because I travel first class. And the room that I have stayed in, that money put together for 3-4 days can change a whole village. So I want us to start focusing on the community. I worked for civil service for over almost 2 decades. Then I was in civil society working on the grassroots for the poor for 10 years. And now when I'm here, I'm seeing that really we are not touching the real nerve of the matter. So we need to refocus our thinking and our strategies to have hands-on. And the other thing is there is a resource, a human resource within the political structures. What I have noticed is that most development partners who are giving us some money, they don't want to support politicians. It is good not to support them when they are looking for votes, but when they are done, they form a resource and they have the moral authority, the command of changing the society. So we need to include them, give them some sensitization, because sometimes some of the things we do are undone by the politicians. Why? They also want attention. They want to be seen to be doing something. You go and tell people not to do something in the forest or to do something in the swamp, and you have not involved this politician. As soon as you leave, he will play on the sentiments of these people and he will go back and shout something opposite. And then no, these people go back and spoil what you have done. So there's need to have those people included into whatever we do. They are a critical mass, the politicians. They are there right from the ground. And then there's another critical mass of people who are sitting there doing nothing. They are called women councils. They are not facilitated at all for anything. In Uganda, that is. But those are people who are there ready to change their circumstances. But they cannot write a proposal. That's one thing. They cannot do those accountability things that you require for someone to qualify for what? For a grant. Personally, I've done a lot of things using my own salary because I do not even have that time to stop and write the proposal or to stop and have those structures that are needed for my organization to do what? To benefit. So what I do is the simplest. Go and work and take the little back to the community to try and change them. Of course, that's like a drop in the ocean. So we need to involve those women. They are there. They are just waiting to be sent to do something. And you cannot send them without, first of all, teaching them, and secondly, facilitating them, and then being there to appreciate what they have done.